Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, Professor John.
Yep, better. Can we kickstart?
Yep, the floor is yours. Yep.
Okay. Oh, 1 second, guys. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Good to see you, and I hope you all had a wonderful week. I'm just going to ask a couple of questions to see where we were or where we are regarding last week's class, right? So just unmute everybody, unmute yourself, and then take the opportunity to answer the question. All right. Now, my first question is: I want somebody to give me the 3 types of powered surgical instruments. The 3 types of powered surgical instruments.
The first one is electric,
Electric, yes, good.
compressed air or gas,
Okay, that's
battery.
and then battery. Good. Thank you so much. But Inusa, right?
Yes, please.
Good. Good. Okay, somebody also help us to mention the 3 endoscopes. 3 types of endoscopes. The 3 main types of endoscopes that we looked at last week. This is my second question. I have 3 more or 4. Then we go to today's. Yes, 3 types of endoscopes.
Flexible endoscopes.
Correct one.
Rigid endoscopes.
Rigid endoscopes. 2.
Non-rigid endoscope.
Which one?
Non-rigid endoscope.
Rigid, not non-rigid, but something rigid. Somebody polish it up. Semi-rigid. Semi-rigid. Thank you, guys. You guys are doing well. Awesome. Now, my third question. What is the most outstanding feature of a tungsten carbide instrument?
The golden color.
The golden color.
Golden ring. Yeah.
Golden ring. Good. Golden color, close, golden ring. Perfect. Yeah, the golden ring handle. All right. All right. Which of the instrument type can the jaws be replaced? Which of the instrument type can the jaws be replaced? Or the blades be replaced? That's my fourth question. Which instrument type can we replace either the blades or the jaws? The blades or the grasper or the thread? Just think small. All right, it looks like this one is a little bit tough, right? Did we read last previous topic? So the instrument type that we can
Is it an endoscope?
Shania.
Endoscope?
No. Instrument where we can replace the whole blade, we can take it off and replace with a new one, or the threading of a holder, we can replace the threading and replace with a new one. There's a particular type of instrument that we can do that. Which type of instrument is that?
Give us
Is it
options.
the Meyer Hager?
Okay, so we have
Is it the otoscope?
Okay, so
No.
let me give you the options. Let me give you some options, then you can choose. So we have microgrid, we have stainless steel, we have Witlander, we have tungsten carbide.
Tungsten carbide.
Tungsten carbide, correct. So tungsten carbide, we can replace the blade, the threading, we can replace all of that. Now, I want somebody to mention 3 parts of a hinged instrument that you can inspect or you're supposed to inspect. 3 parts of a hinged instrument that you're supposed to inspect. That's my 4th question.
The jaws.
Ratchet.
Tawfiq,
Distal end.
the distal
End.
head.
End.
Oh, distal end. Distal end. Distal end will not be part of a hinged instrument. That is a faucet. Ratchet, correct. But Inus are correct. Ratchet is one part.
Box lock.
Shaft.
The box lock.
Dawara says what? Box lock, correct.
Yeah.
One
And the
more.
shaft.
The shank.
The
All
shank.
right. And let me add the 4th one, the tip of the instrument. Okay, good. Now, with the what will be 2 places that you need to inspect of a faucet? Tawfiq, that is where your answer will come in. 2 places, at least 2 places that you inspect of a faucet.
Box lock.
Distal end.
Distal end. The faucet does not have a box lock. Distal end and where? Only 2 places.
The jaws.
3. 3 places, but I want 2. Distal end and
Jaws.
jaws or the tip. All right. I'll take that. I'll take the jaw. In the case of the faucet, is the tip. Now, which scissors is the most sharpest?
Supercut scissors.
Supercut. And what is the color of the supercut?
Black.
Black. Awesome. Now, this is my last question, then we go to today's listing. So everybody, those who didn't get the opportunity to answer, fight for this one. Fight it with the last drop of your blood. What is the most common factor of powered instrument damage? What is the most common factor or cause? Let me say cause of powered instrument. What is the most common cause of power instrument?
Fluid invasion.
Fluid invasion. So guys, I'm glad you are able to supply the answers, but when we are done with class, just go back and read. Okay? Reading is very, very, very helpful. So guys, I'm so excited that you guys are following what we are doing. If there's any question that somebody wants to ask of last week, you can go ahead and ask before we start. All right, good. So we are looking at preparation. Oh, give me the heading again. Preparation and what? Packaging. Assembly and packaging procedures in central sterile processing. So think about packaging, assembly, how to put things together. That is the whole reason why we are having this conversation this evening. How to put things together, assemble, package, so that it look nice. There are rules governing it, okay? So we'll look at that. So give me the next slide. When instruments have been cleaned, they are transferred to the assembly area of the Central Service Department. This area is also known as the Preparation and Packaging Area, or Prep and Pack, as we commonly call it, where instruments are inspected to ensure they are clean and in good working order before being packaged for sterilization. This step is critical because it is the last opportunity to verify the instrument before they are dispensed to operating room or other user areas. Potentially serious problems can arise if defective or unclean instrument makes its way to the end user department. If these issues are detected, one, effect is delays occur. Two, risk to the patient. So if any of these happen and clean instruments gets there or wrong instrument get there, the outcome is going to be the same. The case with delay, patient outcome is going to be impacted negatively. Therefore, it is imperative that protocols for inspection, assembly, and packaging are always followed. So for these reasons, for these very good reasons, delay, patient outcome, and we being the last barrier to correcting things, we need to make sure that we follow guidelines and principles. Next slide. Physical environment of assembly and packaging area. Nobody wants to go to a place whereby you're going to buy your favorite meat. Let's say you are a steak person, you go there and then the place looks so terrible. All right. Nobody wants that. You want to go to a place where the environment is right. So physical area. We want to look at the air. The air that is coming in must be positive. Positive air pressure is what we are looking for in clean assembly area. So it means that when you open, you are in clean assembly area, when you open, air should be able to go out. Unlike in decontained, when you open the door, the air doesn't go out. It stays because it is polluted air. It doesn't, because if it goes out, people will breathe in and they get sick. All right. Why is positive airflow important? When doors open, air flows outward, preventing airborne contaminants from what? Entering the area. So that's the reason. That is the logic behind it. The outside environment should not have impact on inside. Clean assembly is supposed to be clean, as the word says. All right. So any outside environment or contaminants should not have a part to play in that. So we make sure that it is clean. We look at along the line. We look at the cleaning areas, the workstations, the floors, the ceilings. All of that will be taken care of today before we wind down. So this minimizes the risk of what? Bacteria, dust, and other particles being introduced. Okay. So we do that just because of that. Temperature and humidity. So we need to have Prep and Pack needs to have a required minimum temperature for us to be able to work. The decontained temperature is different from the Prep and Pack, same thing, different from storage area. For Prep and Pack, the required temperature is between 68 degrees to 73, all right, Fahrenheit. But if you are converting into Celsius, it's 20 to 23 degrees Celsius. And then the relative humidity must be between 30 to 60% to prevent excessive moisture. Okay. So if the place is too humid, it's not good. All right. And then the temperature must not be too cold too. It just have to be human body temperature. All right. That's what it is over there. But sometimes you get there, you realize it's cold. You have to put on your jacket. All right. The monitoring temperature and humidity levels daily ensures compliance with industry-wide standard. Yes, we are supposed to keep record of the temperature and the humidity. Fortunately, that does not fall under your purview if you are a tech. I don't know how many hospitals do that, but I know it is the job of the engineering department. They keep records of that. But we have to keep an eye. In the CSPD department, decontained has a monitoring device, Prep and Pack has a monitoring device, and then storage area also has to have monitoring device. These devices are being recorded, or they record them on a daily basis by engineering department. So that does not preclude the fact that if we notice that it is out of range, we're supposed to speak up. All right. When you look at the gadget, it is out of range. Temperature is supposed to be 68 to 73, and you're seeing it as 90. It means that you'll be sweating over there, and you don't want your sweat falling over your instrument. So you need to speak out so that management can call engineering to come and take care of it. Next slide. Housekeeping. Yes, when it comes to cleanliness, housekeeping play a major role in CSPD. Housekeeping. You cannot be assembling instruments and cleaning as well. Okay? You cannot do that. So that's why we have the housekeeping or the environmental services department. So what do? They do surfaces and fixtures. What are the surfaces? The workstations, the storage shelves, the furniture, and non-porous and easy to clean stuff. Okay, so they clean the workstations, they clean the storage area, the floor, the dust, the top where they need to dust to, so that dust particles will not be falling back into your tray. If they do that, they contaminate the tray. If it makes its way to the sterile field, the impact is huge. The patient is affected negatively. Surfaces must be routinely wiped down using disinfectant approved for healthcare settings. So every hospital, depending on the hospital policy, they have approved wipes that they use, environmental services use to wipe the top of workstations or surfaces. All right. Then when they do that, what do they do? Reducing dust and lint accumulation. I explained that. You can't get anything better than this. So the lint, we said they are fine pieces of fabrics that hang in the air. All right. Okay. And I give an example of if you buy a brand new towel and you use it the very first day, you see some whitish hair on your skin, and that's lint. Basically, that's what it is. All right. So when they do the dusting, the cleaning, they take care of this. It reduces that, and then therefore reduces the rate of contamination. Lint control measure regulates regular cleaning of workstation floors and air vents. So when you regularly clean, housekeeping in CSPD is supposed to be daily. Every single day, they have to come around, empty the trash, mop where they need to mop, remove sticky stuff where they need to remove, and take care of business. So that, because if CSPD is not clean, trust me, the OR is going to be negatively impacted. The next one says use of lint-free cloths and wraps to reduce fiber shedding. We saw this last week, that when you wash your endoscopes, you wipe them down with lint-free cloth or towel. Strict adherence to attire and housekeeping protocols. Yes, when you are going to the department, you have to be in your right attire. You cannot enter CSPD with your street clothes. You cannot do that. You have to be in your attire or approved and recognized attire to be able to enter CSPD. So,
Question, sir.
yes.
What is the policy on like cologne and special scented lotions while you're at work?
The policy, it depends on the policy of each hospital, but as far as I'm concerned, 90% to 99% of the time, the policies are basically the same, but it's just the level of enforcement that is different. Okay, so you're not supposed to wear cologne that is too strong. Okay, that when you pass by, people will look above their shoulder to see who is passing by, or whenever you enter the department, everybody knows that you are announcing your presence. Okay, so most of the time they advise that you wear a cologne that is mild. And you know that some people are also allergic to strong colognes. Okay, you enter there and then you cause the discomfort of another person. So in some hospitals, they'll even tell you that don't even put on cologne at all. All right, but if you are so obsessed with colognes, the recommendation is that you go with one that is mild that everybody can handle. The other part was what you said. You mentioned cologne and what?
Like strong scented lotions, because I
Yeah,
don't.
so
Yeah.
basically the same thing. All right. Okay. So if you notice, if you have ever been hospitalized in a hospital or healthcare facility, or any of your family members have been there, normally the bathing soap, the lotions they give you is unscented. Most of the 99% of the time is unscented because of these situations. All right. So yes, it's not encouraged, but hey, people do it, but the advice is that keep it on a low key. Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, so that is what you're supposed to do. You have to be strictly dressed to be able to go into Central Sterile Processing Department. So ourselves and housekeeping basically wear the same scrubs, because when there's flooding, we have to call them to come in and take care of the flooding. So it's not this time we call them, then they are going to change and look for scrubs and blah, blah, blah. But housekeeping play a major role in keeping Central Sterile clean. Next slide. Dangers of lints in sterile processing. We have seen that it will contaminate the sterile field. It will bring about infection. The hospital will get sued. Money will be lost. Okay. And the worst part is that it can also lead to loss of what? Life. So there's a lot of reasons why we should be on the lookout for what? Lint. It's dangerous. Can create a lot of what? Problems for the OR, the patient, the hospital. Everybody gets affected when the lint is allowed to do its job. So be on the lookout for what? Lint. So if you work in a facility where you detect that maybe the towels you are using have a lot of lint, quietly speak to your manager to see if there is an alternative in the market that they can get to beat that down, because you don't know when your loved one will step into the facility needing somewhat treatment, and then they will use something that has lint on them, and then they go home infected. All right. So we have seen lint and how it impacts Central Sterile and the OR. Next slide. Oh my gosh. Hand hygiene and accessibility. Hand hygiene. You cannot work in a hospital setting without hand hygiene. Even in our homes, we are encouraged to do it. Okay? You use the bathroom, you gotta wash your hand. You touch anything that is contaminated, you take trash out, you wash your hand. You do this thing, you wash your hand. You take clothes off, you wash your hand. Same applies to Central Sterile Processing Department or the hospital setting. So once you get to the department from your house, you punch in, you got to take care of that. You got to wash your hand. So hand washing is everywhere. And when you do that, you break the chain of infection. All right? You break the chain of infection. For I'm sure 90% of us on this platform come from a place whereby sometimes water is a very difficult commodity to get. So But thank God we are now in a place whereby water is not difficult to find. So let us not transfer our attitude back home to this place. So wash your hand, wash your hand, wash your hand. But in the event that you cannot get water to wash your hand, another way you can break the chain of infection is to use alcohol-based hand sanitizers or wraps. That's what it means there. Okay. So when do you wash your hand? When do you use alcohol-based wraps? All right. So before dealing with clean instrument, touching non-sterile surfaces, before and after donning gloves, and if hands become visibly soiled. These are when you hand wash yourself or you hand washing. Okay? Any question? All right. Today, it's not going to be a solo ride. I'll get some help along the line. But give me the next slide later. When I get tired, I'll begin to mention names. So everybody get ready. Proper lighting for instrument inspection. So you need, it is not a club whereby you go there and you dim the lights. Lights have to be on and they have to be bright so that you can check for biobedding, cracks, and clarity of or how clear scopes, rigid scopes, semi-rigid scopes are. When you have poor lighting system, you fail to dot your I's and to cross your T's, meaning that you will fail in detecting areas that needs to be checked because the lighting system is poor. So we need a good lighting system so that it is bright for you to see, that you prevent errors, reduce eye strains and fatigue. You don't have to put pressure on your eye to see. Probably you have to close one eye to be able to see because the light is bad. Ensures instruments are properly aligned, assembled, and functional. Okay. Without the lighting system, how will you know that the faucet is aligning? How will you know that the coker is aligning? How will you know that the scissors is aligning? Okay. How will you see the box lock if the light is not good? You need to have light to see, to feel, to be able to get the things right. Next slide. Dress code. Yes, that's this dress code and personal hygiene in assembly area. I think this kind of answers my brother's question, the one who asked about the cologne and then mild lotions or scented lotions. Yes. So 1, nail polish and artificial nails prohibited. It's a no-no. Artificial nails, it means that you put them there, whatever adhesive is holding it can fall off, and then or can become non-adhesive, and then the nails will be in there. Trust me, I can promise you that when you begin to do this work, you hear all sorts of things. People's combs have dropped in trays before. People's pens, people's watches, people's phones have dropped inside trays before. I can promise you that. At least I'm talking from at least 30 years of experience. So watch out. People will get called for very, very weird reasons why they get called to the manager's office. So if you have artificial nails or polished nails, I think central sterile processing is not for you. You have problems with your manager. All right. Hair covering. So those of us who love long hairs and what have you, you have to cover them. Make sure that they are tagged in your hair cover. They must not be showing out. All right. So hair covering, eyelashes, yes. If they are If they are artificial ones, no. If they are natural and they are too long, some people have very long eyebrows. We can't do anything about it. But if you can keep it good, awesome. All right. So because if you leave them like that, long like that, what happens is that they fall into the tray. And once they open this tray and they find any hair on anything, the whole case is collapsed. They pack everything out, everything is deemed contaminated. Take it out and bring new set. So what have you done here? You've delayed the case, you added more work to your colleagues. All right. Jewelry and wrist watches. For the past 30 years, I've not put on my wedding ring. I don't even know where it is because of the nature of the work. You put it on, you get to work, you take it out, and then so I don't know where it is. So what jewelry and wrist watches is a no-no. All right. Scrubs attire guidelines: clean and change if soiled. So if you become, let's say, you are working on a set, you flashed a suction, and the gentleman or the lady at the back, indeed, when I say back, it means decontaminant, didn't do a good job. So you flashed, and then some tissue, some bloody stuff came out of the suction and then splashed into your clothes or face, your body. You need to go change. All right. Get yourself new set of scrubs. Give yourself, your face, a good bath by putting your face under running water and get yourself clean. And if I may put it out in a very funny way, get yourself disinfected before you come back, right? So look out for that. Restricted were personal items, money, cell phones, and other personal electronics should not be brought into the area. When you say the area, CSPD, but we cannot say that don't bring your phone, but you do not have to put your phone on your workstation. Your phone needs to be in your pocket, because why do we encourage, or do we say leave your phone in your pocket? You could get an emergency. If you leave your phone in your locker and you have an emergency at home, your family are trying to reach you because something is happening, they need some help. How do you get to know? All right. So let your phone be in your pocket. Don't put it on your workstation. All right. Don't go and display your riches on the workstation. Keep your money in your pockets. Don't bring all those fancy electronic gadgets, your PlayStations, your what have you, to show off. No. Bring only your cell phone and then keep it in your pocket. Don't display it on your workstation, because your cell phone is carrying a lot of viruses, the bacteria, and what have you. All right, don't do that, because they are contaminated. They're coming from the streets. Maybe you ate some my Ghanaian friends, some banku with some nice okra stew. Your hands are oily. You touch your phone. In the process of coming two blocks to your work train station, you saw a friend who is sick. You shook his hands or you gave him a hug. So before you get to the workstation, your phone is contaminated. So that's why we encourage that you don't put it on the working station. Next slide. Key takeaways. Inusa, read this one for me. Key takeaways.
All right. Key takeaways for the assembly and packaging area. The assembly area is a designated clean zone where instruments undergo final inspection assembly and packaging before sterilization, positive airflow, controlled temperature, 68 degrees to 73 Fahrenheit, and proper humidity, which is 30 degrees to 30% to 60% are essential to maintaining cleanliness. Minimizing dust and lint is critical to preventing contamination that could lead to surgical site infections. Strict hand hygiene protocols and easily accessible hand washing stations help reduce the risk of cross contamination. Proper lighting is essential for accurate inspection and error prevention. Adherence to a strict dress code, into bracket, hair covering, no jewelry, short nails, and clean scrubs minimizes contamination risk. Following standardized protocols for assembly, inspection, and packaging ensures patient safety and prevents instrument-related complications.
Thank you, Inusa. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Now, anybody has any question? This bullets that he just read is a summary of all that I have been talking about. That's what it means. Okay. Anybody with any question before we move to the next slide? Nice. Director, give me the next one. All right. Traffic control. Traffic. When it comes to traffic, it means people are moving. In CSPD, it's not vehicles. People are moving. People are moving with cars. People are moving with something. So we are trying to see how to control that. Traffic control and environmental management. Maintaining a clean environment is in the prep and pack area is critical for preventing contamination. Traffic should be restricted to only authorized personnel who follow strict dress code and high hygiene protocols. We've seen that already. Entry restriction ensures that airborne contaminants and microorganisms are minimized. We also saw that if you crack open the door, air must go out and blow the one that is coming in away so that the one that is contaminated cannot come in. All right. So if anybody crack open the door, air must come out and meet the person so that the disease, the viruses, the bacteria, the lint that was coming from the hallway into the department that will contaminate our workstation is kicked away. All right. Then restricted access and hygiene measures. Signs. So there must be a sign. If you come to my department, there's a big I'm not sure whether it is hexagonal sign or what do you call six sides shape? How do you call it?
Hexagon.
Huh?
Hexagon.
Yeah,
Hexagon, right? Okay. All right. I forgot. What about the eighth one?
Octagon.
Octagon.
Okay. All right. I got confused a little bit. Thank you for the help. So the hexagonal sign is a hexagonal sign that says stop. If you are not properly attired, it is boldly on the door. You can't miss that. Just as when you are driving, you see the stop sign and you don't stop and you go, and police can give you a ticket or citation. Same thing. CSPD, we have the start sign. Say surgical attire required should be placed at entry points. So it's there. Every CSPD that I've worked in is there. You can't miss that. Food and beverages are strictly prohibited. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm going to ask a very, very funny question. Or somebody might say it's a stupid question. How many of us will get their delicacy, something that you love so much? You pick your bowl and you go to the toilet room or the bathroom, sit on the toilet and eat. How many of us do that? Nobody, right? It's insane. So CSPD is contaminated. There's a lot of germs over there. So why would you come and eat over there? But you will find your colleagues doing that when you get onto the job. You will find people eating cookies, people taking sodas. All right? It's a no-no. I remember a colleague was taking soda and then the soda poured on the keyboard. Now the keyboard had to be dried. What happened? So you know soda is basically sugar. So the soda dried up and then the keyboard is not working. It got stuck. So lost there. All right. You can get sick, your food is going to get contaminated. You're going to contaminate the instrument and a whole lot. That's why we don't, and food is not even water. You cannot drink water in CSPD. No. You have to go to the lounge to drink your water. You got to step out to drink the water. All right. Why? Food attract pets, insects, rodents, and may leave residue on hands which can transfer to instrument. Very, very self-explanatory. All right. Personal hygiene and proper attire are essential. Strict adherence to dress code, hand hygiene must be maintained. We saw that already. Next slide, please. Work area requirements. So the work area should be large enough to perform thorough inspection, testing, and assembly of what? Instrument. Yes, you have a table, stainless steel tables that you use. All right, you should have enough space to manipulate, to maneuver around so that you can get your work done, executed. Essential equipment should be available. Computer, printers for accessing digital count sheets and then tracking what? Inventory. So unless you are working in a facility that is too, I don't know, maybe it's still in the 17th century, that's where you will not find a computer in there. So you find computers, everything that we're working will be computer based. So if you are not a computer guru like my type, please begin to practice. I'm not a computer oriented person. All right, I'm a struggling man. Instrument testing devices to ensure proper functionality. Yes, we saw them. The scissors cutting materials. Okay, if a scissor is greater than 4.5 inches, you use the orange or red material. If it is less than 4 inches, you use the yellow material. For rongeurs, we use the index card. Also too, we use the dual rod. All right. Remember this can be an exam question. What is used to test a rongeur, or what is the testing material for rongeur? Then they pay yellow material, index card, a dowel rod, blah, 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 blah. I'll leave the rest for you. You know the answer already. Cleaning tools to remove dust and lint from the workplace or workspace. Cleaning tools. So we are also encouraged that even though we need the services of environmental services or housekeeping to do an extensive cleaning job, as techs, we're supposed to clean after ourselves when our shift is over. So when you have your shift is 7 to 3 o'clock. So when you have 15 minutes left to 3 o'clock, that is 2:45, you take wipe, clean your workstation, or you'll take a liner, have an alcohol sprayed on it, wipe your workstation clean, wipe your scanners clean, everything that you need to do, take away what extra instrument, put them on your extra instrument board or the drawer where it's supposed to go. You will get to know all of this. So just clean after yourself. All right. Don't leave pouch stuff that you took or sticky, something that is not supposed to be there. Clean after yourself. All right. So that the next person can take off on a clean note. So workstations should be cleaned thoroughly, routinely to maintain low contamination environment. Next slide, please. please. Primary goals of pack preparation. Primary goal. And we have the FUN principle. FUN. Functionality. So the F is for functionality. Instruments must be fully operational and work as intended. So scissors must cut. Needle driver must be able to hold a needle, a suture, sorry. Roger must be able to bite. Okay, test that. You do that by testing. So scissors must be sharp, clamps must be able to hold securely, and multi-part instruments must be complete and correctly assembled. So laparoscopic instrument which comes apart, we have the pin, the insulation, and the handle. All this must be complete, and then it has to be the right handle. All right. Accurate, the A in the FUN is accurate. So functionality, accuracy. The pack must contain correct instrument and in correct quantities. If they say mosquitoes or Hartmann, 5, try to give them 5 unless you cannot get 5. And they have to be Hartmann. If they say Hartmann and you go and put regular mosquitoes and they are 5, you got quantity correct, you got the description wrong. Okay? There is a reason why it say Hartmann and not regular mosquitoes. All right? Then neat. The N in the FUN is neat. Instruments must be arranged in an organized manner for easy identification and use. All right? Even though you don't get rewarded for your neatness, but your neatness or the way you organize your work will not go unnoticed. I repeat, even though you don't get rewarded financially for organizing your work well, I can promise you that your organized work will not go unnoticed, either at your peers level or in the OR. When people when they open your tray and they see that it is more organized, the first thing they're going to do is go look at the name of the person who put together. And then the next time they are coming to the department looking, asking, oh, who is Shania? Or who is Inusa? Who is Tofik? All right? And then when you ask them, why are you looking for me? They say, oh, no problem. It could be 2 reasons, either for good or for bad. All right? So if you're not doing anything bad, you shouldn't be worried why it should be bad. So when some people come to look for you and they don't give you the reason why they're looking for you, don't be worried. Just keep doing the right thing. Okay? So disorganized parts can slow down OR procedure and cause frustration in the room. Okay? I don't want to say Sinkafa the Wachi because some people don't understand what I mean by Sinkafa the Wachi here. So okay, I'll leave that one. Next slide, please. So that's the FUN. Functionality, accuracy, and neatness. Okay. General guidelines for pack content preparation. I'm going to ask from one of my students who don't want to read. So I'm one of them. Let me see. Okay, let me go for the first one who want to read. Shania, go take this one for me.
Okay. General guidelines for pack content preparation. Instruments are grouped into packs, sets, trays, or kits based on their intended use. Count sheets should be available for every pack, providing correct tray name and detailed content lists. Step-by-step assembly instructions, including disassembly and reassembly. Thank you. Placement instructions for instruments within the tray. Sterilization method and cycle requirements. Packaging type and process indicator placement.
Okay, good. So I'm going to take each one of them and quickly run them through what it means. Count sheet should be available for every pack provided. Okay, providing. So there will be a count sheet. When you scan the tray, you will see it will pop up, or it will populate on your monitor. Okay, unless you are still living in the 17th century or 15th century, that's where you work in a hospital where there's no computer. Every hospital does have it. Correct tray name. So you scan, the name of the tray will pop up in bold writings, like the way the general guidelines for pack content preparation is written. Then bullet 3 says step-by-step assembly instruction, that into bracket including disassembly and reassembly. So it will give you step by step as to what to do. Then bullet 4 says placement instruction for instrument within the tray. So it will tell you if the instrument is made up of layers, maybe it has 3 different layers, it will tell you which instrument is supposed to be in which layer. That's what it means by placement instruction. So it may be top layer, middle layer, bottom layer. If it is a 3-level tray, top layer, bottom layer, is this thing. Or it will tell you stringer or pouch. So if you say stringer, it means that instrument has to be on the stringer. If they say the instrument may be adhesive with tip, put in, and then the adhesive with tip is under pouch, then it means that it has the heading is under pouch. The heading is pouch, sorry, and the adhesive with teeth is under the heading pouch. It means that whatever that is coming under that have to go in the pouch. Then what if it says stringer, and everything under it will have to be on the stringer according to the way it is listed. That's what it means there. Then sterilization method and cycle were required. It will come on the print. When you they set the kit, they set the tray, the pack is done. The final label will tell you what parameters or sterilization cycle you are going to use. It will be boldly written there. You don't need to sweat for it. Okay. Then packaging type and processing indicator placement. So it will either tell you whether you are supposed to wrap it or you're supposed to put inside a container or canister, and then where to place the indicator and what type of indicator. Is it going to be low temperature indicator or high temperature indicator? It will tell you that. Anybody has any question? It's so simple. Is it interesting? All right. Yes, Sanaya, you continue. Well, you continue till I tell you to stop. Okay. You're my special assistant today, so continue for me.
Okay. Moisture considerations and sterilization. All instruments must be completely dry before assembling to avoid sterilization issues.
Okay.
Effects of residual moisture in different sterilization processes. Steam sterilization alters the steam to dryness ratio. Ethylene oxide, ETO sterilization, creates toxic ethylene glycol, hazardous to staff and patients. Hydrogen peroxide, ozone sterilization, causes the sterilization cycle to fail. Exception, some manufacturers require lumens to remain moist for steam sterilization.
All right. So thank you for the slide. Now, instruments might be completely dry before assembly to avoid sterilization issues. Yes, low temperature sterilization, completely dry. Agree, perfect. But steam sterilization, we encourage that you might not be able to get it completely dry because it will slow down the process. But we encourage that you reduce as much moisture you find on the instrument when you are doing steam sterilization. The reason is this: steam is vapor, water in vapor form, right? And water in vapor form, when what happens when it is settled? It becomes what? Water, right? So if you allow more water by way of moisture to be on the instrument, and then the steam also condenses, it's going to add more to the water that was already there. So you're going to be getting wet packs here and there. Okay? So that's why we encourage that, and that you reduce the amount of moisture before you sterilize so that you can avoid these issues. Okay? And then when you don't do that, it means that you have to let the instrument or the set sit in the autoclave or the machine for a long period of time for you to take it out, so that it will have that time. That's why you put they have the alters the steam to dryness ratio. So it will take a long period for it to dry, compared to if you had reduced or you had wiped the moisture on the instrument. It will take a shorter time for it to dry. Okay. Then if you come to ethylene oxide sterilization, we have always talked about its bad odor and then toxic nature that it creates. That is why when the alarm of it goes off, you have to remove yourself immediately. All right. Then hydrogen peroxide, the reason why we encourage that you remove much moisture from it is that it will cancel the cycle. It will abort it. Okay. The cycle will cancel, meaning that whatever you put in there is not good to be used on a patient. So you have to do it, start it all over again. That is why we encourage that you wipe it completely dry in case of what? Hydrogen peroxide sterilization method, which is the same as low temperature sterilization or sterile. Like, but for every rule, there are exceptions. And if the manufacturer says lumen should be left moist, then you have to, so that steam penetration and then sterilization can take place in the lumen. Questions so far before we go to the next slide?
Yeah, I have a question. So with the steam sterilization, when you read, it says alters the steam to dryness ratio. So
Yeah.
is it talking about like, we all know that the steam sterilization will deals with water and then like the vapor you're talking about.
Mhm.
So is it talking about changing from steam to dry?
No.
John, let me answer this.
Okay, you go ahead.
Joe, this is just a nice way of saying that, that's an exception, because it contradicts the first statement. All instruments must be completely dry, underlined completely. So
Right.
the steam that line says steam sterilization alter the steam to dryness ratio is just contradicting the first statement. You understand what I'm saying? That it's just saying that that's an exception, like how John explained earlier.
So which means you are not supposed to use the steam sterilization when you are doing that?
No. It's just saying that you're not expected to have that completely dry as you're expected with low steam sterilization instrument. Make sense?
Okay. All right.
Okay, so let me explain again. It says all instruments must be completely dry before assembly.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that?
Yes.
Then it says effect of residual moisture in different sterilization process. Then it says steam sterilization. Then it says alters the steam to dryness ratio, right? So what I was trying to say here is this should not be as completely dry as we are expecting low temperature instrument that goes in low temperature sterilization to be. There's a better way we could have worded this, but that is what it seeks to say.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Let me. Even though I had to step away so I didn't get all that I just said, but I can relate to what his concluding statement. So my brother who asked the question, yes, you realize that when I said complete, when I was making my statement, I said yes, completely dry, bent.
Mhm.
I put a bet there, a bat there. So when it comes to steam, you're not mandated to make the instrument completely dry. Okay, there will be moisture, but we encourage that the moisture should not be so much, because if the moisture is too much on the instrument in the set, it's going to build up a pool when the system or the machine ends the process. So if there's a pool of water, what do you need for it to go? You have to leave it in the machine for long hours for it to, the water to, that pool to evaporate. That is why we have it alters the steam to dryness ratio.
Okay.
Does that make sense now?
Okay, got it.
All right. Okay, good. Yeah, we are here for you. So we just have to make sure that we clarify the doubts where we have or where we are confused so that we all stay on the same page. Yep. Next slide, please. Maybe Shania will do this one and I'll relieve her. Yep. Shania, your last slide.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem. Pack assembly and instrument inspection guidelines. Inspection process before assembly. Every instrument must be carefully inspected before being placed in a pack. Key inspection criteria: cleanliness, even after decontamination. Some organic material, blood, tissue may remain. If a contaminated instrument is found, send the entire tray back for re-cleaning. Do not attempt cleaning in prep and pack area. Damage.
Okay, you stop there. So even when instruments are clean from decontam, you still have to inspect and you will find certain things not done because we are human. You will miss. The person at the back will miss one or two. So it needs to go back. All right. I remember when Professor Ejapon was teaching you guys, he made mention of when he was teaching the decontamination. Instrument that goes through decontamination, properly cleaned, washed and whatever. If you look at it under the microscope, what you will see will marvel you. All right. So even though it is decontaminated, it is washed, we still have to look out for certain things because it's more likely some of the tissues was dried, so it could have not been removed completely. Tissue will be stuck in between teeth of instrument, or in between box locks and what have you. So we have to look for all of this and make sure that they are good because our names are going to be on the final document that is coming out. And then when you find it, if it is one piece, fine. If it is a bunch of them in the tray, it means that proper job was not done. That's when you send the whole tray back. But in some hospital, the policy is that even if it is one that is in there that is bad, the whole tray has to go back. Shania, continue.
Damage detection. Look for cracks, broken parts, bent tips, rust, or misaligned components. Wear and tear. Scissors and sharp instruments may become dull over time. Springs, screws, and moving parts must be checked for functionality. Worn or defective instruments should be repaired or replaced.
Okay. So what will you do to be able to notice cracks, broken parts, bent tips, rust, and misaligned component? What will you do to be able to identify that?
Inspect them.
Inspection. Correct. That's the word I'm looking for. So inspection. We are more than inspectors. Every day we are inspecting. Every day is CSPD is inspection day. All right. Don't put anything in there and put your name on it without inspecting. Very, very important. Because, excuse me to say, you will look stupid when they begin to point certain basic fundamental issues to you. You'll be like, oh, really? Was it me? Oh, I shouldn't have done that. All right. So inspect. All right. Next slide. So Shania, I relieve you. You are a free person now. You're not under my tutelage, my control. Right. I'm looking for a new candidate very soon. So multi-part instrument inspection. Multi-parts. This is an instrument that has different parts. One of it is the laparoscopic instrument. Okay, that's the one that comes to mind immediately. All right. That is not to say that's the only instrument. Instrument that disassemble for cleaning should be reassembled, tested, and disassembled again for sterilization. Again, listen to the language. Disassembled for cleaning, reassembled, tested, and disassembled again for sterilization. This would depend on the IFU of the manufacturer. Some manufacturers will tell you disassemble for cleaning, reassemble and test it for sterilization. So you don't do the disassemble part again. But where the manufacturer wants every surface of the instrument to be exposed to the parameters of what sterilization, then the second disassemble comes. So, but for multi-part instrument, the first disassemble is a K, is constant. You always have to disassemble at the cleaning side, no matter what. Every manufacturer will tell you to disassemble it at the manufacturing part. The cleaning part. Then reassemble will happen. Testing will happen. Some will leave it there, but some will ask you to disassemble again for purposes of what? Sterilization. So pay attention, and all of this will be found on the count sheet description. It will give you all of that details. Then small parts, e.g., wings, wing nuts, screws, must be placed in containment devices such as sterilization pouches and metal holding trays. So the delicate and then easy to lose instruments. Delicate, easy to lose instrument, nuts, screws, we place them in special holding pouches or special holding containers. So in a tray, you find other containers in the tray because some pieces need to be specially treated. All right. That is why when you go and buy what do you call it? Let me not go there. I'll cause more chaos. I don't want to create storm. Specialized instrument testing. Scissors, we test them with either yellow, orange, or red material, depending on the size. Okay, for sharpness, to see whether they cut. They have to cut clean. If they don't cut clean, it's not good. Electrosurgical instrument insulation. We test them with that. You remember that device that was white? You pass through the insulation, or you have a brush. You use it to sweep the insulation handle to see whether they make any pee-pins. Remember that conversation we had last week? Then demagnetization of instruments. This demagnetization of instruments. Some instrument will magnetize when you sonic them or wash them. It means that you place them between on a metal, it will get stick to it. So you have to take out the magnet that came on them either through the wash or through the sonic. And you can do that. When you do that, that's when we say you have done what? Demagnetization. Demagnetization means that you have removed the magnet on the instrument. So it's no more sticking together. All right. And we normally the manufacturer will tell you, most of the instruments that I know that they normally do demagnetization are the plastic related instruments, plastic surgery related instrument, or micro instruments. That's where most of the demagnetization would happen. All right. So demagnetization means removing the magnet that is on it. Okay. Needle holders and faucets may become magnetized, making switching difficult. So a demagnetizer reverses the magnetic charge in it. So if you demagnetize it, you take out the right. So just as decontamination means that you are taking the contaminant out. So if you demagnetize, you are taking the magnet out. Next slide. Instrument identification and storage. Tools for improved inspection and assembly. So magnification devices. So that help us to see residual debris, cracks, or imperfections. So most hospitals have magnifiers. mounted at every workstation. This will help you to find the catalog number. It will help you to see whether the instrument is dirty. Okay. It will also help you to see whether there are cracks so that you don't have to strain your eyes. Okay. Instrument identification tools. Does anybody want to ask a question? Najib, you want to ask a question?
No,
Okay,
okay.
good. All right, let's go. So instrument
John,
identification
but
tools.
I would want to add something. Don't forget 4:15. We're gonna have to take
Oh,
15
okay.
minutes
All
break.
right, good. Oh,
So
okay.
after this slide, and maybe the next.
Yeah. All right, good. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me because I'm getting so excited, so I don't watch the time. All right, so thank you for the reminder. So instrument identification tools. So we talked about barcoding or barcode scanning. We talked about etching. Last week we talked about all of that. We have color coding where they put the tape around it, and where the tape is peeling off. What did we say you should do? Take it out. And we have that also what deeping. You also when you do deeping, you put a plastic around the rings. So still nobody answered my question about why we put the tape on the shank. That question is still there. I haven't forgotten. All right. By the close of the lesson, if somebody knows an answer, let me know. All right. So we also use this to identify. All right. There is the instrument holding trays designed to protect instrument and facilitate what? Sterilization. Instrument holding trays. So we'll get to see some of them maybe along the line. Some trays are customized for specific what? Procedures, while others are adjustable for multiple configuration. Okay. So some because of the nature of the instrument, we customize the trays or the baskets that holds the instrument. If the instruments are reported broken all the time, you have to find out what is the reason behind their breaking. Are they just thrown in the basket loose? If that is the case, then can we make the basket such that they can be held in place? They are not movable no matter how you shake them. So you begin to look for vendors that can or manufacturers that can give you that customization. All right. So that you will hold your instruments in place, they will not break, and you will not spend more to do that. And you will save yourself of the headache of being called as a manager, and then also you will also save your technicians from being invited to the manager's office for questioning why did you put a broken scissors, and then the tech will say, no, I didn't do that. Yes, because we probably didn't investigate enough to put it in a proper housing or casing or basket so that all of these will be what? Avoided. So the baskets you'll be seeing, some will have protective mats in there. Some will have smaller containers to take care of the screws, like we said earlier on the slide before this one. And then some will also have some partitioning in the tray to hold certain instrument in place so that we don't get instrument damage or instrument becoming dull. I think this will be the right place to stop. If anybody has any question, ask before we pause for the 15 minutes break. It's 4:15 now, so we are going to come back before by 4:30. So next slide, please. Yeah, best practices for using instrument holding trays. Correct usage of holding trays include read. This is what you have to do. You have to follow the IFU of the manufacturer. If it says stringer, put it on stringer. If it says inside pouch, go by the pouch. And it is silicone finger mats must be properly aligned for optimal air and water removal. So like I said, we have some silicone materials that are used in some baskets to protect some delicate instrument. You have to make sure that they are properly what? Aligned so that steam and moisture can get out, can drain, and air can what? Go in to dry whatever it needs to dry. Okay. Do not overcrowd trays. Do not overcrowd trays. Don't put too much in one basket. That is not, anyway, that will not be your job. That will be the job of the manager. But you can also make a recommendation. If you are working on a set and you feel that the instrument has too much and the basket is small, you can recommend for a smaller, a larger basket so that the instrument will be more relaxed in there and then it will not cause any damage. So overflowing can lead to one, incomplete sterilization. When instruments are too packed, okay, steam will not be able to reach every instrument the way it is supposed to because there is no space in there for steam to travel. And that will also result in make it difficult for drying and handling issue. Yes, it will be difficult for it to dry because there is no space for the steam to escape and bring about dryness. All right. So tray weight consideration. So heavy trays can cause ergonomic issues, issue of bending and lifting. When instruments are too heavy, you have to position yourself in a way that it'll be easy for you to lift it. If an instrument is heavy, I think, if I remember too well, you have to keep your legs apart so that you can have grounding to lift it. If the instrument is easy to lift or the tray is easy to lift, is light-weighted, you can just have your legs close to each other and then you lift it. So ergonomics is very important so that you don't break your back, your waist. You don't have to come to work and then get sick. You're supposed to come to work and then be healthy. All right. Next slide, please. Best practices for using instrument holding distance trays. Delicate and sharp instruments require special protection. We've seen that. Tip protectors, silicone mats, foam sleeves, and brackets prevent damage. So we'll be seeing them shortly. I think the next or two slides, you might see instrument protectors. All right. By their name, they're supposed to protect the instrument from what? Damage. That's what it means. Avoid using latex tubing for tip protection, as it may block saline penetration. So latex tubing. Avoid using it to protect the tip of your disc. It can prevent sterilization or the sterilant from reaching the surface of the instrument. Proper positioning for sterilization. Hinge instruments, which is scissors, needle holders, clamps, must be opened. You cannot process a hinge instrument closed because the tip or the jaws are what is going to do the job. So if it is closed, how will sterilization reach that part? So that's why we keep them open. Instrument stringers or rags can keep instrument open and aligned. Forceps should be placed in the same direction to prevent misalignment. So the distal tips must be on the same direction, or the tips of the forceps must go one direction. You don't put some going inside the pouch and some coming out of the pouch. Then you can puncture somebody if the person is going in there with their bare hands. Okay, so we make sure that they are going in the same direction. All right, next slide. Yes, so this gives us a pictorial glance of what we just said. So on the figure 12.25 23 is forces which are protected, okay, correctly and incorrectly. That's why I say protect forceps tips, okay. So you see that they all go into the same direction. If you look at figure 12.23, they all going in the same direction. But that's on your left. On your right, you see that some are going one way, the others are going a different way. Incorrect. That's why we say incorrect. Figure 12.22 is giving you a situation whereby the hinge instruments are open and put on the stringer. This is a different, a special design stringer, probably customized. All right. That's probably customized. So you see that one there. Then 12.20 is an example of tip protectors. Tip protectors. Yeah. So even if you are protecting it with a tip, it still has to be what? Opened. Then we have examples of instrument protectors. They are on figure 12.21. The white piece there is a mat. It's a mat. It's supposed to cushion the instrument from having direct contact with the metal basket. And the green one on your right is a foam. It's a foam protector. Also, it protects the delicate instrument like a forceps and the rest. Okay, so we have various kinds for various purposes. Okay, next slide. Key takeaways, summary is what we are talking about here. Traffic control in prep and pack area is essential to maintaining contamination. Strict hygiene protocols, including food restriction, help prevent microbial contamination. Instrument packs must be functional, accurate, and neat. The FAN principle. Every instrument must be inspected for cleanliness, damage, and proper functionality. That is one thing you must not forget. Inspection, inspection, inspection. Moisture must be eliminated for sterilization, except in cases where lumens are required. Instrument holding trays should not be overcrowded or overweight because of economic problems. Proper instrument protection, tip guards, silicone mats ensure safety during sterilization and handling. Hinge instruments should remain open to allow complete Straland penetration. If your instrument go to the OR with your ratchet locked in, trust me, your manager will receive a complaint and you will be invited to the office. So keep your instrument, hinge instrument. When I say hinge instrument, we are talking about any instrument that has a box lock. Any instrument that has a box lock is a hinged instrument, and therefore it has to be kept open throughout sterilization process. Okay, either in decontam, through the wash, prep and pack to sterilization, it has to be kept open. Next slide. Procedure trays and basin trays. Procedure trays used in patient care settings such as nursing units, radiology, and emergency department. Procedure trays are not big trays. They are small trays, lightweighted, sometimes 10 instruments, okay, or even less, okay. They use it for simple procedure. Maybe you got a card, they just suture the place. They probably need a needle holder, Adsen, or something like that. Something simple, okay? That's why we call them procedure trays. Contain most or more all items needed for minor surgery or procedure. Multi-parts items should be disassembled to allow Straland penetration and prevent moisture retention. Disposable items, e.g. needles, scalpel blades, sutures are now rarely included unless the manufacturer provides proper re-sterilization instructions. All right. Sterile towels should not be opened and placed in trays as they may cause superheating. making the sterilization process ineffective. So in the past, I remember starting CSPD, we used to have some trays that have they cut gauze and put them in the trays to cook, and they use them. All of that can cause overheating. All right, they are too dry, so can cause super heating. So lint, and it can also bring about what? Lint. Okay, can bring about what? Lint. So lint concerns. So gauze sponges. So there we go. Gauze sponges and surgical towels can introduce lint into wounds, leading to complications. So procedure trays, we try to avoid that. Okay, superheating in steam sterilization. Superheating occurs when dry steam gets too hot compared to saturated steam. Dry heat gets too hot compared to saturated steam. Dry heat will not burn you like saturated one. Don't mess up with saturated heat or steam. You go home with burns, often due to dehydrated linens. Dehydrated linens mean that there's no moisture. Dehydrate. Hydrated means water is in there. Dehydrated, water has been taken. So when towels are packed in a set that are dry towels, it can lead to what? Superheating. That's what it basically means. Consequences of superheating. Steam loses its sterilization effectiveness. All right. Items in the sterilizer may char or burn. And then the entire sterilization load may become what? Unsterile. So when we pack it with a lot of towels or gauges, it can get super heating in the process. So be mindful. And I can promise you that it's not too common, because these days you don't get a lot of central sterile processing department reprocessing linens. That is only happens when you have linens or towels in some trays. It's not common lately because the towels will come separate. Next slide. Then the basins. Basins, basically kind of bowls, if I may put it that way, to make it easier for you to see. Bowls, all right? Okay, so proper assembly is crucial to allow moisture drainage during sterilization. So when you get to central sterile processing, you will get to know how to place a basin to get it properly sterilized, how to load it on the cart to go into the machine to be sterilized. There's a way you have to load it. If you don't load it properly, it might not be sterilized. But most of the time, we are only looking for the indicator in there to see that it has changed for us to, or the chemical has traveled all the way to the safe zone for us to see that. So when steam touches metal, condensation forms, creating water droplets. That's why you have to make sure that you remove a lot of the moisture, because when steam comes, it will create its own water. So if there's already water on it, it's going to bring about a pool that I was talking about. Prevent wet packs. That's trace retaining moisture post-sterilization. Wet, who can say this word? WHICKING.
Wicked.
Okay. All right. And if you were to be a German, you would have said something else. All right. So I don't know whether to say Viking or Viking or whatever. All right. So that material there, such as surgical towels and specialized absorbents, materials should be used. Okay. So wet pack, to avoid wet pack, we use towels. Okay. To clean, you have to wipe them, remove the moisture on them before you sterilize. We don't want to create a pool in the container. When they open and you have moisture on your instrument, case closed, everything will be packed out, a new set will be brought in. So Again, so when you are sterilizing, you have to leave the instrument to, there's always a 20 minutes window of drying time. You have to leave the instrument in the autoclave or the machine when the process ends. The cycle ends, you have to leave it in there for at least 20 minutes before you take it out, so that it can leave, or the instrument can stay in the control environment for the steam to escape completely. That's why we crack open and then we let the steam come out gradually, so that your instrument will dry in good fashion. Basin sets must have at least a 1-inch size difference between stacked basins to allow steam penetration and proper drying. Right. So you have to arrange it such that there are gaps or there are spaces between one basin from the other, so that sterilization or steam can penetrate. If you stack them like the way, if you go to a restaurant, they stack the plates and then serve people, trust me. Do you notice that when they are going to wash the plates, they don't stack them the way they stack them when they come out from the washing, how do you call it, dishwasher? When they are stacking them, when they are loading them in the dishwasher, there is space between one plate and the other, so that the dishwasher can wash all the surfaces. Same way, or the same principle we apply when we are loading it, because every surface needs to be sterilized. Then overly dense sets may require division into 2 separate sets to prevent excessive moisture retention. So when you stack them, steam will not be able to escape. And if steam is not able to escape, it is going to condense. And when it condenses, it's going to form what we call wet pack. And you always want to avoid wet pack. It is not a good practice. Next slide. Instrument trays and assembly. Every instrument must or tray should have an updated count sheet. We saw that already. Technicians should not rely on memory when assembling instrument trays, because there could have been a change. Sometimes the managers will do changes, they will not tell you, and then you know the instrument off head. So you want to do it according to your count sheet in your head. Don't do that. Always look at the screen. All right. And sometimes when you see a new, or you do an instrument that you know offhand and you find something extra, take a second look on the count sheet. They might have updated a count sheet that you are not aware of. So avoid counting total tray content instead of verifying each instrument. Yes, very important. Avoid counting, I know this tray is only 11 instruments. Oh, so the 11, everything goes in there. Meanwhile, they say the 11th instrument is not the correct one. So go according to the count sheet and the description. Don't base on the number of items that go in the tray. Standardized instruments arrangement ensures consistency, reduce stress, and time for users. Instruments might go in the same direction. If it is forceps, they must go in the same direction. The tips go the same direction. The ends go in the same direction. Don't let some go end inside, tip outside, and some tip inside, end outside. No. All right. Like I said, when you're more organized, you may not get rewarded, but you'll be noticed. Trust me. Incomplete trays should not be clearly labeled. Incomplete trays should be clearly labeled and reported to the user department. Definitely, yes. The systems that we use will report when it is incomplete. So where the tray is incomplete, some places they have maybe a color, or they have a tag that they will slap on the outside label, which will say incomplete, or they will put a particular color on it. Some places a red means it's incomplete, a green means it is good. just like we have traffic lights. Green means go, red means stop. All right, so that if the OR knows red means it's incomplete, they will not pick a red one when a green one is on the shelf. They'll pick something that is complete. Instrument placement consideration. Hinge instruments should be arranged on racks. Okay, racks or stringers. They must be arranged there so that they'll keep them open. They keep them open. Stringers to remain open in position. Heavier instruments should be placed at the bottom. We saw that several weeks back. Sharp and fragile instruments should be protected with phone pouches. That is the slide we saw before this one, or 2 slides back behind. The tip protectors and then silicone mats. Okay, silicone mat. What do you do when you have somebody who has a back pain? They give them orthopedic mattress. So they say that is the orthopedic mattress for the instruments. All right. Sterilization concerns. Saline penetration and weight distribution must be considered. So we don't overpack instruments. All right, we don't overpack instruments. That is not your job. The manager should be able to do that. But you are free to make a recommendation if you notice that. That is why everybody is important. Managers learn from their staff, staff learn from the manager. CS managers should collaborate with OR staff to create optimal tray outlay. As if I honestly didn't read this before, but I was basically explaining this before. So optimal outlay that balances usability and sterilization effectiveness. So yes, OR can make a complaint that, oh, maybe this tray, the instruments are so much, we need a bigger basket. So you work with the OR to get that sorted out. Next slide. Powered surgical instruments. So they need to be lubricated. We saw that in earlier chapters. Trigger handles should be set to safety mode. Yes, every powered surgical instrument, you will see a safety mode. Put it to safety mode so that in the event that is getting connected, somebody doesn't get a shock or there's no any emergency or problem in the process. Use sterilization containers recommended by the manufacturer. Most of the time, powered surgical instruments come in their customized trays or containers that keeps them. Make sure you always keep them where the manufacturer wants. Specialty instrument, laparoscopic, robotic, endoscopic cameras require careful handling due to their complexity and delicate nature. And I want to add their expensive nature. Very expensive. It can pay you, some of them can pay, their cost can take care of your 2 years' wages. So be mindful. When you break one of them, even if you have never received a verbal warning, you can get a write-up straight, depending on the cost involved. Often stored in, so follow the IFU, which is always the gospel of CSPD, IFU inspection, and often stored in specialized trays to prevent damage. Next slide. Internal chemical indicators, CIs, for quality assurance. Purpose of indicator is to ensure sterilant penetration and detection, and detect potential sterilization failures before use. So if you open the tray, there is no tray you would do without putting an indicator in there. If you don't put indicator in there and you are working in my hospital, you will come to my office to explain why you will not put indicator in there. All right. So wherever you go, indicator is going to be part of your 10 commandments, if I may put it that way. The Christians here, 10 commandments, it's going to be part of your 10 commandments. You will inspect you will put indicator. All right. Remember that. Inspect, put indicator. And the indicator there'll be a change. There'll be something to tell us that it was sterilized, it wasn't sterilized. It's good to go, it's not good to go. There's a chemical, they say chemical indicator. So the piece has a chemical, the chemical has to travel to a certain distance, a certain zone for it to be acceptable. If the OR opened your basket, they are looking for that indicator. If it is not there, case closed. You have just booked an appointment to see your manager for query. If there is indicator there and the indicator the chemical didn't travel to the safe zone, that is not your fault. It's now they will just notify the manager. Probably that pack of indicator is defective. All right. So these are the things that you get to see. But class 5 integrator is react to all critical parameters of our sterilization. Class 5 indicator can be used for process challenge device. Process challenge device testing. And then class 6 indicator, cycle specific indicator that react to all parameters or sterilization parameters in a designated cycle. For example, 270 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 minutes exposure time. These are steam sterilization parameters. So the class 6 one is what is telling you that it is parameter specific. So the indicator you put in there is a class 6 parameter one or indicator. All right. Then placement. Where do you place it? In the tray. Must be placed in the most difficult to sterilize areas. So we encourage that you put it, some put it at the top, some put it in the bottom, some put it in between. All right. I wouldn't be so specific on that, but don't miss indicator. But it must be placed in a difficult to reach area. Sometimes the corners where a lot of instrument, they put it there to see if it will go all the way to where it's supposed to be in the safe zone. But when we come to sterilization, there are certain things, yes, those ones you cannot break the rule. Like where we put the biologicals, the Bowie discs in the machine, that one is specific. I can't change that rule. No. Whereas somebody will put it on top in the case of indicator, somebody put it at the bottom, somebody put it in the middle, depending on who trained you. All right. But we are advising that we put it to where it is difficult to reach. Then for multiple layers, each layer will have to have an indicator. Why? Because how do we know that there was actually steam in this layer? Okay. So the top will have indicator, the middle will have indicator, the bottom will have indicator. Provided there are instruments there. A failed CI, that is chemical indicator, means the pack should not be used. All right. But the instrument should not be used, or the set should not be used. If you open and the indicator did not pass, it means it cannot be used. Next slide. Basic packaging principles and materials. So we have materials that we use for packaging. Okay. If you go to the food restaurant, they have various, they have paper, they have aluminum, okay, all of that. Plastic. So same thing happens to CSPD. Avoid penetration of the chosen installant. So the reason why we need to choose the right material, that's what it means by sterile packaging objective, to allow penetration of chosen sterilant and drying of what content. That's why we need to choose the right material to package. Okay, you don't go and put soup inside a foil, aluminum foil. It won't work. All right, you have to put soup inside a plastic container. That way, it can get where it's going safely. All right, maintain sterility until the package is open. So we have to choose a material that will keep the instrument sterilized until it is opened or it is needed and opened. Allow aseptic opening to prevent contamination. The chosen material must be such that it will allow for aseptic techniques to be applied. So what are these materials? Steam sterilization must withstand, for any material that is chosen for steam sterilization, it must be able to withstand 270 or 250 to 275 degrees Fahrenheit so that it will not melt. If it cannot withstand that, it is not good for steam. If it cannot withstand 250 to 275 degrees Fahrenheit, then it is not good. And if it is able to do that, it should also be able to allow air to remove or to get out. And then should be able to allow the instrument to dry, meaning that this material must meet this category to be able to qualify for steam sterilization. For ethylene oxide, must permit gas penetration and aeration. It must allow that toxic sterilant to go in and then to come out. All right. If it is not able to do that, you cannot use it for ethylene oxide. Then hydrogen peroxide must tolerate what? Deep vacuum cycles and then be cellulose what? Free or non-cellulose. Cellulose free, non-cellulose. Okay. It must be deep vacuum cycle. There's some pressure in the hydrogen peroxide sterilization process that material must be able to withstand it. Okay. It must be able to withstand it. And most of the time, you don't use paper related. That's the cellulose free item there. Anything that has some paper related something is going to fail. It's going to cancel. It's going to abort. So if when you come to CSPD here, fail, cancel, abort, we're talking about the same thing. It's the same language. They are just synonyms. Somebody will say aborted, the load aborted. Somebody will say the load canceled. Somebody will say the load failed. Same language, synonyms, different words. Next cycle. Next slide, sorry. No, okay, the ozone sterilization requires cellulose-free materials just like the hydrogen peroxide. Okay. Next slide, please. I'll take this one and I'll get a friend to help me. Types of sterilization, sterile packaging materials. We have reusable packaging materials. For the purpose of examination, I'll have to say this, but I'm yet to see where they use, maybe in the past, old time when we had not advanced in certain things, yes, it was used, but lately you will not find it. But for the purpose of the exam or the course, yes, we have to tell you, we have to let you know. So reusable materials, woven fabrics, muslin, dark cloth, twill, treated bacteria fibers or fabrics must be inspected before reuse. Why must you inspect it before reuse? Maybe holes, punctured holes, it has traveled, gone through the machine, went to storage, went to OR, coming back, washed, and to be reused, you have to examine to make sure that there are no holes, apart from the ones created by the manufacturer. Light tables help detect the damage in the textile wraps. So you place it over a lighted table surface, and when you see more than needed light, that will tell you that that place there's a hole. If the light is uniform throughout the surface, means no problem. But where you see more light, it means that there's a bigger hole there. You take care of it. Then lint must be removed or to prevent what? Contamination in the field. And then we have the rigid sterilization containers, the commonest you will find. And that is about the best I can say every hospital has or is the best for sterilization, rigid containers. All right. Metal or plastic containers with filters or valves for sterile penetration. So the metal containers, they come with the bottom. They have perforations where we put the filters, lock them in, and then they have covers that also have filters that we lock them in. We put filters and lock them in so that these filters is what prevents foreign materials from getting into it, but it allows steam to penetrate to sterilize the content of the basket. All right. So provide strong microbial barrier. That's what I mean by prevent. Then prevent instrument damage. Yes. And then eliminate wrap tears. So if you put inside a container, there's no way a metal container will tear. I'm yet to find one like that. The only thing that you can do here to prevent it is if you don't do the right thing, you don't put the locks, you don't put the filters, then you are just as bad as somebody who wrap it and they had a hole in there. Your case is just as bad as that. All right. Disadvantage, heavier than wrap. That means that you call in for economic what? Best economic practices. Longer drying time, yes, because of the metal. It gets heated more. All right. Filter retention plates must be checked for integrity. Yes. So you check to make sure that when you put your filter, you're locking it in place, it's secured. All right. Secured. If it's not secured, please look for a new and a better one. Next slide. Disposable wrapping materials. That is the one that we have lately that almost every hospital uses. Disposable one. You wrap it, it goes to the OR, it doesn't come back. It's not the reusable ones that they had some couple of years, maybe 200 years ago. No, this time the wraps are disposable. One time use. You use it, you throw it away. Even if you wrap your tray or your basket or whatever, and you have a doubt that you probably didn't put indicator, if you remove it, you unwrap it, and you check, and you are sure you saw the indicator now, or you didn't see the indicator, and you put a new indicator in there, you have to discard the wrap. Even though it has not gone through sterilization, you throw it away and use a new wrap. Don't try to take the tape out and use the same wrap. You're not saving the hospital any money. You are causing more harm than good. Okay? You're not saving the hospital any money. It's not your money they are using to buy. Just throw it away, get a new one, and proceed. Then we have pouches. Pouches. We have pouches. You get to see them. Some of them are self-sealed. Some of them are heat-sealed. Okay? When you get to see, you get there, they are used to carry or to contain lightweight items, faucets, sometimes one-piece items they use for them. All right. Two main types. We have paper plastic pouches and then spar-bound one. Somebody say that word. I don't want to bite my tongue. The English people, can you help me out? No, spar-bound.
Spun-bound, melt blown, spun bond.
Polyolefin.
Polyurethane plastic.
Yes, okay. I will take whatever you say. It's just a name of something, so it's a noun. So I'll take it. Whatever you say, whatever way you take it, I'll take it. The most important thing is that we have spare bond type, which is used for a particular sterilization process. That is hydrogen peroxide or low temperature, or ozone type. The paper plastic is used for ETO and then steam. Okay. Now, you have to choose the right size. You have to look at the instrument you are putting inside this pouch to determine the size of the pouch that you have to use. Okay. If you use a pouch that is small for an instrument that is big, what happens is that the edges of the pouch will become so tight that it can easily burst open. For example, if you wear very tight clothes, what happens if your phone falls? You are scared to bend down to pick them, right? Because your pants might split, and God knows what will happen from there. So you choose the right size for the right sort of pouch for the right instrument. Same thing, you cannot put a small instrument inside a big pouch. What is the disadvantage there? The instrument will be floating in there. That's one. It is not secured. The chance that the instrument will close back because of more than enough space that you have there is high. Two, you are going to occupy, that big pouch is going to occupy storage space in your storage too. So always make sure that you choose the right size of pouch for your or for the instrument. Okay. And make sure that if we get the opportunity to see the slide where the pouches are, I'll show you. Double pouching is sometimes necessary for aseptic presentation. But most of the pouches are single pouch, and you have to pouch it such that the instrument that is pouched can be reached out or can be held without contaminating or compromising the sterility of the instrument. So you always have to put the handle part of the instrument to where they are going to open. Yes, that if you go, yep, almost there. Yeah, that one. Yes, you see where the opening end is, that is where the rings will have to be, because that is where the surgeon is going to hold. The part that is way down there is the part that is going to do the job. Once you touch that part, you have already contaminated the place. So the open, and then they give it to the surgeon. The surgeon is the one who pulls it out. So everything is clean. All right. Take me back to the slide, Director. Thank you. Thank you for this teaching aid. Right. That's why when you have a powerful director who can maneuver his way out for teaching materials, make your work easy. Next slide. Wrapping techniques. Wrapping techniques. I am sorry I cannot teach you wrapping techniques abstract, but I can give you the steps. When you get to the field, trust me, some of you who are Ghanaians, your wrapping will look like Dokono. Okay? It look like Kinky. All right? Some of you, it will take you years before you'll be able to wrap something nicely. Some of you too, when you get there with time, you wrap and it will look like you work at Macy's. Have you seen somebody going to buy something from Macy's and they package it? Oh yeah, it will look nice. And it will all come as a result of what? Practice, practice, practice. Okay. But for the purpose of the exam, we have wrapping techniques to make sure that the content stay aseptic all the time. Okay. All the time. And we have the envelope technique and we have the square technique. We'll look at that. But before then, let's look at these bullet points. Best practices for pill pouching. Inspect for damage before use. Position items correctly for aseptic opening. That's what we showed. The director showed us with that pouch thing. Same thing with wrapping. You see why you do certain things certain way. Instrument tips should face the plastic side to prevent puncturing on the paper side. Great point. Very, very great. Always let the instrument pointing tip to be facing the plastic side, because the plastic side is difficult to puncture. The paper side, easy. Hinge instruments should remain open during sterilization. So when you are pouching instrument which has hinges, scissors, needle holders, coca, crown, mosquito, you have to put them on a instrument card which is designed to keep it open. When I first started, those instrument cards were not there. It was something else. But now they are all over the place. So keep them there to keep them open. Remove as much air as possible before sealing. So every pouch, there is a sealing line. There is an indication on the pouch where you have to seal it along. Some of them are pre-cut. Some of them is already folded. If you seal your pouch and you have any lumps along the seal, it means that there are openings. So either that opening will serve as steam entrance point, or it will serve as an entry point for microbacteria or lint or dust or whatever. So make sure that it is properly sealed. Okay, and seal pouches with tamper evidence closures. If I seal a pouch and it is open, there's no way you can seal it back. Done. All right. Good. Let's go to the next slide, Director. Yes. So this video will do the teaching. So watch it carefully. This is the envelope type. You see that the person did not fold the thing underneath because of aseptic reasons, so that when you take off this left and right part that she's folding, you can easily grab the one that she folded first without touching anything in the basket or the tray. You see? So that which is protruding outside is what you hold and pull. Once you pull it out, it breaks the tape. It breaks the tape and then it exposes the content. So this is how wrapping is done. Great. Great job. Director, what me? Thank you so much, Director. But you will get to see this on the floor, all right? Now let's see the summary of all that we've been talking about. Procedure trays must be assembled to facilitate sterilization and prevent moisture retention. Internal chemical indicators ensure sterilization effectiveness and must be placed correctly. Some place it on the corner, at the bottom, at the top, in the middle. When you get there, the hospital, the manager will tell you where to put it. Packaging materials must be appropriate for sterilization method. You cannot use steam for sterile. Same way you cannot use sterile pouch for steam. Okay? And you cannot put a steam indicator inside a sterile item. It won't change because the sterilant is not the appropriate one. Packaging materials must be appropriate. Okay, right. Reusable packaging requires special handling and inspection. I'm still looking at the face of the earth where there's a hospital that uses reusable packaging materials. I'm yet to know. Disposable packaging materials should be selected based on sterilization compatibility. Yep. Proper instrument tray assembly, including weight distribution and sterilant penetration, is crucial for success. Don't overpack, keep them open, forceps go in the same direction, faucet in pouch, perfect situation. Pill pouches must be sized correctly and sealed to prevent contamination. When Joint Commission comes, where hospital gets cited is the pouches. They go and say, can I see your pill pouches? They pick one, they go through it, they look at it from head to toe. They give it a surgical analysis, whether the handle was sent to the correct place, is the tip covered, are there creases at the sealing point? If they are, they say now they have found the worm. They are now going to dig and dig and dig and look for all the rots that we have been doing. And what happens? If it was, for example, say, assuming it was Kwame Obing, or Obing was the one who did that pouch, that it was not sealed properly, the instrument handle part was sent to the sealing part. Trust me, when you see the face of your manager, you will know that you have caused distraction. You will right away know that there's trouble coming. So you will not be happy because they will look at the name and it will be reported in their final report that they do. Okay, so make sure that you seal your stuff correctly. Next slide. Flat wrapping. So we saw that. Okay, so we saw the envelope, and then we saw the we didn't see the sequential wrapping. I'm not sure that is also still in existence. Okay, I'm not sure that is also still in existence, but it's something that you know for the purpose of the exam. Okay, sequential wrapping. Package is wrapped twice, creating a package within a package. Have you been seeing those your Amazon boxes that come in? Yes, your Nike shoes, sneaker that you buy, they put a paper wrap around it and then put it in a box again. Okay, this is what they are talking about. Okay, common material, muslin, woven fabric, craft type paper, and single layers of SMS wraps. Spellbound something. The M is what I forgot. We'll look it up. Go look it up. SMS. All right. It's not text message. Okay. Advantage: provide a second layer of protection, which is helpful during sterile processing. Disadvantage: time consuming. Time consuming. I don't think that, like I said, I don't think it's common. Then simultaneous what? Wrapping. Package is wrapped only once with double layered synthetic non-woven material pre-bonded on 2 or 4 sides. Okay, that is the one we saw the video. Okay, and it looks like an envelope. That's why I keep calling it envelope. Listen, common material, specialty SMS double layered. That we have single layers too, very light. Those ones can easily tear. Advantage: faster process, labor intensive, leading to higher efficiency in CS or OR. Disadvantage: second chance during aseptic one. Lacks a second chance. My bad. Lacks a second chance. You don't get it. You can say, okay, oh, maybe the first wrap outside is not good or punctured. So let's depend on the integrity of the wrap inside. Okay, you don't get that, unlike the sequential one. Next slide. So square fold and envelope fold. Okay, so square fold and envelope fold. Use the square fold is for large packs and instrument trays that require even weight distribution. So commonly used for rigid container, large textiles, packs, and then bulky items, square fold. Then ensures secure and even wrapping that prevents the package from what? Shifting. All right. Envelope fold. Envelope fold. Used for small packages. So square is for large, envelope is for small. Envelope is for small. All right. Preferred method for surgical instrumentation or instrument what? Trays. So the one that you saw, it was not a basket. The one that the ladies wrap was not a basket. Did you see that? It was some form of a tray with a solid bottom. How many of you remember, can visualize that video? Right. So it was not a basket. So it was a tray. Small procedure trays. So that. Then easier aseptic one, opening. Yes. The envelope one was the one she did. You saw that she didn't, she left a piece outside to pull to break the tape. And then when it is broken, she just folded. Once it is broken, all the folds will fall back where they were, and then she will just lift what the side she folded first. And then no part of her body will touch the content. That is what we are meaning by aseptic one process. So the envelope, we have the folding techniques, we have the wrapping technique, we have the square fold, and then we have the one, the envelope one fold. All of this, you can learn it on the job. Or you can go to YouTube and look for square folding wrap and then envelope folding wrap. Watch the video and you can get an idea on that. Okay. General guidelines for flat wrapping. Check for wrap integrity before use. Please, whenever you are going to wrap, look for holes before you wrap or cuts. Sometimes the materials come in boxes. They use knife blades to cut the boxes to take them out. The wrap might have been compromised at the time of unboxing them. So whenever you take your wrap, lift it against light and see if there are any holes. If there are any holes, throw it that wrap away and grab a new one before you wrap. If you don't do that, it goes to the OR, you delay the case, you create more work for everybody. Okay. And if you use an already created or a wrap with a hole, you have done what we call in mathematics cos 90 job. Cos 90 is equal to 0 because the hole is already serving as an entry point for what? Contaminant. Viruses, the bacteria, and all the dust and the lint can pass there to go. You'll be shocked what I'm telling you, but if they show you the process, you appreciate what I'm talking about. Ensure correct wrapping size. We mentioned that. You cannot go and have a 50, let's say a 40 inches a 40 inches container or basket, and you are using a 36 wrap to do it. It won't work. It won't cover. So if you have a 40 inches container to wrap, you probably need a 54 inches wrap to cover it. Or at best, you are going to use a 45 inches wrap to do it. And that means that part of the basket will be exposed. Again, not good. It has to be fully covered. So choosing appropriate wrapping material is very, very important. Okay. Maintain a smooth, wrinkle-free wrap. Your wrapping must be such that people have to guesswork. They don't have to know that, oh, this is Shania's wrap. This is Najib's wrap. This is Obing's wrap. No. Your wrapping should not be one way all the time. I have somebody when my director knows this person I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. So your wrapping must not be a standout in terms of easy identification. Okay. Don't wrap it too tight and don't wrap it too loose. Okay. It has to be perfect. If you wrap it too tight, steam penetration is going to be one difficult for steam to penetrate. And what happens? The wrap can easily tear. I gave you a classical example of when you wear tight pants and you need to pick something on the floor. What happens? You get fashion. What's this word? I'm trying to get a word. The word is not coming. Malfunction. You get your clothes, they will malfunction, okay, because they were not built for that body that you put them in, okay. So when you wrap too tight, steam will not be able to penetrate. If you wrap too loose, there will be pockets of what? Steam trapped in there, leading to wet pack. So either way, trouble. The right way to go. Use proper folding techniques. Secure folds, ensure sterile penetration, and package integrity. So when you do it the right way, you get the right folds. When it's time to open, it's not difficult. And I in this thing, I've been a victim. Some people, when they wrap, you saw the ladies in the video, the first wrap she brought, some people stack it underneath the basket or the bin or the basin, whatever that you are wrapping. If you do that, what happens when you are trying to lift that? Okay, the whole content can fall. So that's why it's advised you don't flip it underneath the basket or the content or the bin, so that it'll be easier to get it out without having to toss it on the floor. Once an instrument hit the floor, contaminated, then you have to start the whole process. Secure edges with appropriate tape or locks. So if it is a rigid container, we put locks. We call them evident tempered locks. Evident tempered lock. If it is broken, everybody knows that somebody open to see. Okay. If it is open, it means that somebody open to see. So the chemical indicators should be placed to identify successful sterilization. If you go out and you lock your door and you come back and the door is cracked open, you immediately know that there was an intruder in your apartment or in your room. So same thing, if a tray is put together and locks put in place, you come, the lock is broken, you right away know that somebody had access to the content of the tray. Next slide. Step-by-step sequential wrapping. I'll leave this slide for you to read yourself. Okay, place the instrument diagonally. So the wrap, I wish I could the video. Please go and watch that video. Director, is it going to be on the platform, or you got it some somewhere?
John, what was the question?
The video that will show the tech wrapping the procedure tray.
Yeah, I'll send it on the WhatsApp group. So
Okay, yeah. So director, do us that favor, share it, watch it. So if you are the envelope method of wrap, you have to place the wrap in a diamond shape. Diamond shape. So everybody go and Google for the diamond shape thing. You will see it. All right. And that is when, if you don't place it in a diamond shape, it's going to be difficult to get it right in the envelope pattern. So we always have to place it in a diamond shape form so that you can wrap it and get it right. So that is the step-by-step of sequential wrapping envelope style. Next slide. Start packaging best practices. Minimize handling after wrapping. And I want to, after wrapping, I want to add this. Apart from minimize handling, don't drop the wrapped item on the card or hard surface. If you drop them before they even get sterilized, you create a hole. So do not drop. And the same thing when you are taking it off the card, or the do not pull or drag. Maybe we'll get to see that somewhere in the future or by the end of today. So use validated materials. Only FDA approved wraps should be used for sterilization compatibility. This point basically is speaking to the managers, but you are going to be working with it. The manager will always buy the proper wrap. Okay. If you don't buy the proper approved wrap, you are in trouble as a manager. Okay. And all the wraps have weight too. They determine the weight of the material that it can hold. That's why you have to select them. The weights are written on the edges of the wrapping materials when you get there. Pay attention to all of this. When you get to the department, when you pick a wrap, check the edges and you see the weight of materials that material wrap can carry. Ensure proper weight distribution. Overloading trays can cause shifting inside the package, increasing the risk of tear. You can tear the wrap. Then store wrap packs correctly. Keep in a dry, dust-free environment with adequate ventilation. All right. Store them in, and most of the time, store them on how do you call them? Shelves that have protection, plastic covering. All right. The plastic covering is smooth, so even if by accident you are rushing, you pull, you are a little bit safe. But if it is the wrap trays are stored on just the rough shelves, as soon as you pull, that's it, you're done. There's a hole before the tray gets the room. They open it, they'll leave the wrap, there's a hole, they'll come rushing. Can we get another tray? Can we get another tray? And if you don't have any, then everybody is panicking. It will lead to flashing, and nobody wants to flash, because questions will be asked. Why are we flashing this? Why are we doing that? Next slide, Director. Consistency in package closure. All right. Consistency in package closure. It is crucial to consistently follow a standardized process for wrapping and sealing packages. I emphasize it. Wrapping, not too tight, not too loose. Okay, just snuggy. Sealing, make sure the part to be held is at where it's supposed to be opened. The tip is not in the seal, because it is the tip of the instrument they use to identify it. So if it is in the seal, how will they identify it? So don't put the tip under the seal. And then the seal must not have bumps or wrinkles or anything to show that it's not properly closed. If it is that, no. So minimize error during aseptic presentation. Save time by making packages opening predictable for OR. Okay? Nobody is in the OR, no, unless the pouch is heat sealed, they always know where to open. The OR always know where to open. So if it is self-seal, it means that you are going to seal it. The machine is not going to seal it. But if it is heat sealed, the machine does the sealing for you. All right? So prevent contamination due to handling inconsistencies. All right? So make sure that you handle your packages properly. Don't take a tray that is wrapped and hold it like a binder on your side. No. You are going to jam up all the instrument in the tray. You have to hold your wrapped tray with both hands. Hold it like an egg. Place some importance or value on it and treat it with care. Anything you love, you treat it with care, right? Love your trays too. Next slide. Methods of packaging closure. Purpose of sealing a package is to securely close the package, maintain sterility during storage and transport, prevent resealing if the package is compromised. So I explain it. If it's open, you will know. If the locks are broken, you will know that something went wrong. Acceptable closures designed to withstand. Also, indicator tape. One of the acceptable closures is the indicator tape. You saw the lady when she wrapped it, she put the tape there. If the tape is broken, finito, done. It's not good. The tape must stay intact. If it is a lock, it must stay intact. Okay? So designed to withstand sterilization temperatures. Changes color after exposure to the sterilization process. So if you lock it and it is not processed, the color is different. If it is processed, the color changes. And every technician to know that is a 101. All right? Use on all wrap packages to differentiate processed from unprocessed. So the tape indicator tape will show you the difference of the one that is processed, the one that is not processed. Should be tightly applied to prevent peeling off or losing. Yes, so you apply it such that it will not be easy to take off. And once it goes into the steam and is sterilized, the heat will further make it firmer on your wrap. That is why when it is open, you can't get it back to seal or to tape. It's done. And then we have the elastomer bands or closure straps. Only approved for use by the wrap manufacturer. Only approved for use by the wrap manufacturer. So the manufacturer is recommending another device that will further strengthen the sterility of what he is manufacturing. So if the manufacturer recommends that you can use that, then you do. If not, stay away from it. Should provide a snug fit without excessive folds or wrinkles. Then it should be temper evidence to reveal package compromise. So the elastomer bands should be such that when somebody tampers with this, it is obvious. You don't need a microscope to see that somebody touched it. If you come, your door that you locked and maybe 2 keys and went to work, you come, it is open ajar, you leave alone, that should tell you that you don't need police to come and tell you somebody broke into your room or your apartment. It's evident. Next slide. Methods of closure, package closure. So rigid containers, locks. For wrap trays, the evident outside is the tape. For rigid container is the locks outside. Okay, these locks, again, if they are not cooked, their color is different. If I say cook, I mean sterilize. If they are not sterilized, the color is different. If they go through sterilization, they change color. Okay? That's what it means. Then we have number 3, heat sealed. These are pouches that you cut or are pre-cut, but they are not sealed. So you put the content in and then you seal them. They are pre-cut or you will have to cut them depending on the size of your instrument that you are pouching. And then you use a sealing or a heat sealing machine to seal them. We have those that seal pouches that go inside hydrogen peroxide, and we have the one that seals the one that goes inside the steam sterilization. If you seal it, if it is a sterile or hydrogen peroxide pouch, you seal it under steam, it's going to melt. If it is a hydrogen peroxide, steam sterilization pouch, and you seal it under hydrogen peroxide sealing machine, it's going to show you as though it is sealed, but if you lift the pouch, the item is going to drop out because it's not sealed. So look out for this. So, and most of the time, managers do a good job labeling them. You always see that this is steam, then they say this is sterile, so that it helps you. That's why if you cannot read and write, you don't qualify to be hired. So you should be able to read those basic instructions. Incorrect heat sealing can result in burns through, and it also can lead to incomplete bonding. That's the case I gave you. If you put sterile inside steam, it will melt. That is the bending part. And then if you put steam inside sterile, it won't bond. It won't hold in place. And therefore, you go home thinking that is sealed. They pick it to the OR, it's not sealed, and then you get invited. There's self-adhesive seals. So for certain pouches, they are found on it come preloaded with some adhesive on them. You just peel off and then you seal it along the pre-cut or pre-designed line or mark that the manufacturer gave you. So ensure to found on self-sealing sterilization pouches, ensure that even pressure is applied. So after you have peel off, you apply pressure to seal it, and then when it is sterilized, it will further hold it in place. So you just apply, just put your finger, like the way those of us when we used to write letters, we put it there, and then you lick that starchy thing they put there, and then you seal it with your thumb, and it is the same thing. But in the case of central sterile processing, you don't lick. You just peel it off, and then you use your hand to apply a little bit pressure to close it and close it well without wrinkles, gaps, or misalignment. If you do it and you see that it's not properly aligned and cold and closed and sealed, open it, take a new patch, and do it. Okay, because you are saving lives. Next slide. Mode of packaging closure. So must completely cover, no gaps, okay, no wrinkles. Paper to paper sealing, okay. Paper to paper sealing must be plastic to paper, right? Okay. The plastic part, the paper side will seal, the adhesive is on the paper side and it will seal onto the plastic one side. Then improper closure method, safety pins, staples, and or sharp objects. So staples and then safety pins, we do not use them for sterilization purposes. No. No. Don't do that. Non-sterilization tapes, masking tape, duct tape, not designed for sterilization because they will not change color to tell you whether they have been sterilized or they have been exposed to sterilization or not. So use approved, FDA approved indicator tape. We have the STERRAD, we have the steam. The video we saw was the steam one. We have STERRAD, it's different. Same thing, you cannot use STERRAD tape for steam item. Next slide. It is labeling. It is important to label your instrument or your packages correctly. If you order something and they put the wrong date or a wrong address to it, it will go to a different place, right? Same thing. If you don't label your instrument or your sets correctly, you mislead the OR, you mislead your colleagues when the OR come looking for it, okay? So make sure that you label it correctly. So what should be included on the label? Description of the content, technician's initials, lot or control number, sterilizer and then cycle number, date of what? Sterilization, storage location, surgeon's what? Name. That is surgeon's name in here. If it is a surgeon tray, a customized surgeon tray, doctor's tray, you will see the surgeon's name too. If it is a loaner that is processed for a particular doctor, you will see the surgeon's name. Okay? If it is coming from a different department, you will see it. Cardiac, urology, neuro, spine, head and neck, plastic. Okay? You see all of that. Best practices. Use standardized abbreviations. Don't go and use strange names that are not familiar with everybody. So ensure clear and illegible handwriting. I think this was done. I don't know where they still do handwriting, but when I was doing my 400 hours, there were some handwritings that we were doing. Okay, so use illegible handwriting. Don't go and write like a medical doctor. Okay, medical doctors is only medical doctors that can read their writing. Some cannot even read their colleagues' handwriting. So write illegibly, write clearly. Use appropriate or approved non-toxic and non-bleeding markers. All right? Self-explanatory. Do not write directly on the sterile wrap. You can't, no, it's a no-no. Don't wrap, because when heat is applied, which is the steam, the ink can penetrate through the wrap and go onto the instrument. And you don't want that to happen. That's why we're taking all these steps to avoid. Yeah, next slide. Let's see if we can. I don't know how many slides more we have to get to the finishing line.
John, I think we should highlight this point. For pill pouches, labels should be placed on the plastic side only.
Right. Okay. For pill pouches, labels should be placed on the plastic side. Plastic side. Labels should be placed on the plastic side. Okay. Don't put the labels on the paper side. Okay. Sterility is either event related or time. Time means that it has expiration date. Time means that it has expiration date. And most of the stuff that we buy, we consume, it has expiration date. Since they are consumables in the operating room or in the sterile processing department, they have expiration date. So we have to keep an eye on them. So whatever you sterilize, if they come pre-sterilized, they have expiration date. Some of the pouches have expiration dates. So when you are pouching them, check them. The box on which you are taking the pouches from, check to see if the date has expired. If the date has expired, stop using it. Use a new date, a new box. All right. Now that is time related. That is those that have expiration date. Event related means that something happened, and then the instrument or the content was exposed to the external environment. That is event related. Okay. And what are the events that could bring that? Okay. If you don't handle it properly, instead of lifting, you pull. It will bring about that. Okay. that is when that happens. Instead of placing the instrument gently, you drop it. It will cause a break in the wrap. Okay? Or you are not supposed to be drinking water in the storage room. You are holding a cup of water or coffee and you drop the liquid on the wrap. Event related. Okay? Those are the event related sterility, maintenance, and then time related. Okay? Then when we are restocking and when we are restocking, we have to apply the FIFO method. First come, first out. So you have to keep rotating your supplies such that you don't get expired supply. The expired supplies happen if we don't rotate the supplies or consumables. Okay, so whatever you broke open first this week has to be used before the order that is coming in. So that's why when you go to start, you push the ones that were in already on the shelf forward, or you completely take them out, then stage the new box, the content of the new box, before you put the ones that were already on the shelf in front, so that anybody coming will not be going to look for the one at the back. They will pick the one at the front. But if you do that for me at the shopping mall, I will get you, because I'll always buy my stuff picking the one at the back, because that one has an extended expiration time. I do that. I don't know about you, but in start processing, put the one that is expiring the front. The stores also use the same idea, FIFO. The one that they had earlier, they put it at the front, and then the new delivery that came in, they put it at the back. But some of us, the smart people, will go for the one at the back. Protective style packages. Plastic protective wraps prevent moisture to dust, to prevent exposure to dust. Sorry, my bad. Plastic protective wraps prevent exposure to dust, moisture, and other contaminants. Point 2, must be applied only after the package is fully sterilized and cooled. Why should it be applied when it is cooled? Why should the plastic be used to cover or protect the item that is sterilized after it is what? Cooled. Can somebody just apply
It's going to melt the plastic.
to what?
It's going to melt the plastic when it's hot.
No, we are saying that, yeah, no, okay, all right, now you added some meat to your answer. It will go to melt the plastic. Not really. There's a reason why it has to be cooled for you to, before you put it inside the plastic. So that makes it 2 questions. Shania want to answer. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, to avoid bacteria?
To avoid bacteria. No, but cool part. Cool. Why should it be cool before we put it in there?
To avoid any steam.
So it doesn't attach to it?
Not really. I'm still looking for the answer.
To avoid any steam.
To avoid any steam. Doing what?
Dropping.
I heard somebody whispering the answer to you. Okay. So we allow it to cool so that it does not wet.
Wet.
Yeah, okay. So because if it's still hot, it will create steam in the plastic. This is okay, and then it will wet the whole thing, and then it means that all that you have done, all your sweat, is going down the drain. So that's why we allow it to completely cool off before we put it inside the plastic bag. But the plastic bag is to protect it from the external environment exposure. Not a substitute for proper storage. Not a substitute for proper storage. Does not extend expiration date. The dust covers does not extend this expiration date. Okay, so don't think that if it's 1 month and you put it inside a plastic cover, it will take you to 2 months. No. Seal with heat sealing or temper evident tape. We have seen that. This is just to give us a second layer of what security. When it's open, we can know. Oh my God. Let me see if I can finish the next. Give me 8 minutes. Let me see if I can finish. Recap. Consistent matters. Consistency matters. Doing the same thing all the time, very important. Use proper closure methods. Approve tapes, sealing technique, sealing material, so that you don't cause bend and not sealed. Use clear eligibility. Write clearly if you need to write, and do not write on the wrap because the ink can penetrate and contaminate the content. Follow event-related sterility principle. Event-related sterility principle means that once an event occurred, it has to be immediately addressed. So let's say, for example, a tray is sterilized today. By accident, somebody spilled water on it. We don't wait to say that, okay, it has to be 3 months or 2 days or 1 week before we unwrap it. No, done immediately. Okay. Same thing with time related. So time related, even if the package is compromised because of event related, something spilled on it, or the content is exposed, even though it has not expired, it's taken out and thrown out away. Okay. Then use sterility maintenance covers when needed. Protect sterilized packages, but they protect the sterile packages, they do not extend sterility beyond manufacturer guidelines. Next slide. Hopefully it takes us to the conclusion. Ooh, we are almost there. So we concluding by saying that we have looked at assembly, the importance of assembling and packaging the right way, keeping hinge instrument open, okay, for sterilization, selecting the right packaging, okay, selecting the right sealing it the right way, making sure that we have environmental control in the assembly area. That means that on a daily basis, housekeeping or environmental services will have to come and clean. If they don't, you are supposed to report to your manager so that their manager will be informed for them to come and clean. Every day they have to come and sweep and empty the trash. Okay? It's very important. Then packing and assembly and preparation, we also have to make sure that in doing that, we are checking for functionality of the instrument. We are checking that we are putting the accurate instrument there by way of description and quantity. All right. And then we are making our work neat. We put the instrument such that when the tray is open, they'll be like, wow, this is beautiful. Even though you don't get paid, they'll go look at your name and then they'll want to see your face, how beautiful your face looks like that you put out that awesome tray out. The sterilization count sheet necessary. Follow the count sheet when you are putting it together. Don't do it from memory. It will not help you. Every day, every time, managers keep updating count sheet. So do according to the count sheet. And as I said, different types of trays require different processes. Basins are treated differently. Basket trays are treated differently. Procedure trays are also handled differently. But for hinge instruments, they obey the same principle. For hinge instrument, you always have to keep them open, because the jaws need to be sterilized. If they are closed, steam cannot reach the jaws. All right, any question? All right. Packaging materials. Packaging, select the right packaging materials. Then 0.5, packaging sealing methods. Tape, locks. Tempered evidence seals. Some is self-sealed. You have to seal it along the demarcated line or marking. Heat seal, you have to use a machine to seal it. And you don't use the wrong machine, you use the right machine. Labeling, every package should have the name of the tray, the person who assembled it, the time it was assembled, the parameters that it has to be sterilized must show. Where it is supposed to be stored should be on your labeling. All of that is programmed. You don't have to sweat, but make sure it has this. If it doesn't, you can prompt your manager to do that. The rest of it is just something that I believe you can read on your own, and then you can take care of that. I don't want to hold our Muslim brothers and sisters. It's not easy to fast. God bless you for fasting, and it's my prayer that as you are fasting, you continue to review what we are doing, and then you get rewarded by Allah at the end of this program, so that you don't feel that you have wasted your time and money on that. On that note, I hand you over to the director if anybody has questions.